Scratch Social, Ep.1. We are all in. We are all in. Eimear McManus, my co-host, partner in crime.
Yes, we are. We are very excited. This is our first official episode. I have to admit, we did do a quick dry run the other day and we learned a lot. So hopefully people will just get a good feel for what we're about, what the show is about. And of course, feedback is always welcome.
So yeah, co-hosting this time, you might know me from another podcast. You know that guy in The Simpsons? Troy McClure. I kind of feel like him at the moment. Troy McClure, you might recognize me from X, Y, and Z. So I do that other thing, but I've always wanted to run a show with a co-host. So I'm delighted that you said yes. But what is the show about? What is this show about, Eimear? What does Scratch Social mean to you?
Scratch Social, I suppose, is we're trying to take a conventional podcast show and just give it a little bit more of a social twist. It's not going to be your typical interview show. We're going to talk about different golf stories, unique moments, what we like and maybe dislike in the game. Always bring up trending topics, but of course we will give you guys an overview on topical news from Ireland and beyond every single week.
You said it in a nutshell for me. For me, Scratch Social is like that outlet that I would have loved 20 years ago as a teenager. To have something to say of that's on topic, especially, and even it would help me now. That would help me to be on topic with golf or of stories, or, you know, if I'm, for example, I'm playing the day after tomorrow in the morning in a golf course I'm not a member of, but I know I'm going to be part of a four ball. And I have no idea who these people are, but at least, you know, thanks to this podcast, I now have, 4 or 5 conversation starters, you know, in terms of the topics we'll cover today. So that's one reason. And you know me now, I always think big picture and growth and, you know, what could this be in a year? So yeah, I'd love, we build it and we're seeing a value, we're interesting. Well, I'm not interesting, you're quite interesting in terms of what's wrong with doing some events, what's wrong with doing some live podcasts, maybe in some indoor simulator places or in golf clubs around the country. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with organizing a couple of group tours, play 2 or 3 golf courses in 3 or 4 days on this island or another? What's wrong with having Scratch Social HQ, an actual physical place with loads of things and good coffee? So yeah, I think you're here to keep me earthed in a way as well, Eimear.
I'll do my best, but I am also big pictures. Let's just follow our process and our plan. Look, we're committing to this for a year. We've agreed it. We're going to do 52 episodes, plus maybe a few bonus clips as and when. Episodes will come out once a week. We'll be talking about, as I said, topical news, videos, social posts, anything like that. And look, we just want to have the crack and maybe try get a few more people interested in golf.
100%. Like golf, when people talk with me, it generally gravitates to golf being the main thing we talk about. But what I love is when someone has no idea about golf. I love then asking them, well, why do you not play? So hopefully this podcast lands in those people's laps or ears or screens or scrolls, feeds, that, you know, oh, this is golf, maybe that I haven't seen it in a certain way. So hopefully it might spark some interest. Who knows? But we might even be able to do it. This is me now, big picture again. What's wrong with the Scratch Social Get Into Golf program? You know, you never know. Golf Ireland does a great job. But you know, I think there's a missing link between, you know, the program and like retaining golfers. So I don't know, maybe we can fill that gap.
Amen. Stay in golf. It's a very, very big one. As you just mentioned, Golf Ireland does do a super job of the Get Into Golf programs. They're absolutely amazing. And we all know clubs and themselves are trying to push people staying in golf. But it is a struggle. It is hard because sometimes people don't know where to go and they see the 8 weeks as the finish line, when realistically that's only the start line of their golf journey. So as Paddy said, hopefully we inspire some people, share good stories and encourage people to stay in golf.
How are we going to do that? Well, maybe if people understand a bit more about us, they might have that psychological safety to approach us or DM us or reach out on our new email. What's our new email, Eimear?
podcast@scratchsocialhq.com.
Absolutely. Was that a dance track in the noughties? 10%.
Maybe. And you know what? I feel very lucky I just got the email right because I only glanced at it before we started recording.
Literally got it today. So fair play. So hopefully we can give people that psychological safety that we come across some bit approachable. You definitely more than me. You know, that they feel comfortable reaching out and asking whatever question they want. And if they want it on the show, we'll put it on the show. So yeah, but to do that, to be such psychological is a tough word for me. I'm from Kilfenora, County Clare. But to give that psychological safety to people, maybe if we find out a bit about us first. So Eimear McManus, who are you and what do you do when you're not on a microphone with me on Scratch Social every week?
So I work at a company called Forefront Group. We are a multi-sports and event agency. We run the KPMG Women's Irish Open, support on the Irish Legends. We're involved in paddle and lots of other sports, work with golf clubs as well. So I'm really embedded in the industry and we have a great business. We're growing really, really fast. And as you said, hopefully people will enjoy it, engage with us and send us in their questions. Now, tell us about you, because I have known you for a couple of years and I didn't actually know what you did outside of golf until very recently. So please enlighten all of us.
What I do outside of golf, and everybody thinks at work that all I do is golf, because I generally show up in a pair of Lululemons and a minimal golf polo shirt. I've tried to limit the amount of quarter zips I do wear to work, trying to expand into the Uniqlo Adam Scott sweaters. But yeah, I'm called out almost daily for, repping certain locations around the country. But I am in big corporate tech sales in a big job in Dublin. If you were to ask any of the fellas around Kilfenora, that's Padraig. Yeah, he left us. He left us here in Kilfenora for a big job in the big smoke. But yeah, that's what I do. I work for Salesforce. I sell software. If you ask my 5-year-old what I do for work, she's what Salesforce do. This is in the pitch now. But she's like, they make everything better, because I've tried to distill down all of the multinational jargon, something a 5-year-old can understand. But yeah, I'm in tech sales 8 years. Before that, I was in sales as a commercial person or a sales manager person for over a decade. If you scroll down far enough on LinkedIn, you'll see there was plenty there. I did engineering in Cork, IT, qualified in 2008, so that's already putting age on me. But the reason I did engineering was I wanted to design. I wanted to help design the R&D for golf clubs. The only reason I did engineering in the first place. But I never took the jump to do a J1. And I qualified in 08, which was kind of like a global economic downturn. So I kind of put, working in Carlsbad out of my head for a few months. And then I got a job and it spiraled into, it got me to where I am today. So yeah, so I've playing golf since I've 10. So I'm 28 years into the game. I was so passionate about it through my teenage years that that's what I wanted to do as a job. Didn't plan for me that way. So that's why I do podcasts and create content, because I want to have a finger in that pie, or, I want to be in the industries, do my level best, these days, to try and wiggle my way in some
Well,
form
you're
or
doing
fashion.
a good job.
Try. Trust the Clare man to try and find a spot at a place he doesn't deserve to be in. I was told one time I'm very good at playing pick. So it's working out.
It is. It is. So, okay. So this podcast, we're just going to give today's first episode is just mainly a bit of a taster. I'm going to give everybody an idea of how the show runs. So, Paddy, I would like to talk to you about a couple of your opinions on golf courses. So can you tell us?
Well,
Actually,
there's
I'll start that one
there's
again.
nothing like a conversation starter, or there's nothing like a Marmite situation where people might love me or hate me, or give me love or give me hate, than asking me about golf courses. So go for it.
Okay. Tell me about the most underrated golf course you've ever played.
Well, that's easy. That's an easy one. For me, this year, I experienced a place down the Wicklow Gap. I came home via the Sally Gap, and it is McCredden Golf Club, designed by Paul McGinley. Oh, Stephen Fitzpatrick is the PGA professional down there. Christopher is my 15-year-old. Sophie's 5 and Paige is 2. But Christopher comes up to Nace once or twice a year because he lives with his mom down there. That's how I explain, the family dynamic. He's up with us a couple times a year. So I took the week off, and Stephen kindly offered, if you want to come play, and bring Christopher. And first thing I walked in, where you walked into a place and you're trying not to judge it by the book by its cover. We're all human. And I came in across the car park, and there was like 60, 70 endless buggies down to the right. And I was like, immediately thinking, well, this is like the demographic of this golf club. Cart only, maybe an older demographic, which is fine. But I was like, kind of put that seed of thought into my head. It goes, maybe this is going to be not great. Because my whole purpose of being there was to give Christopher a good time. He doesn't care if the fairways are brown and the bunkers are full of stones, right? But I obviously also wanted to play somewhere decent. So what changed it for me was we hopped in a buggy. They were great in the pro shop. And Stephen drove up to the first tee, and there was a father and son on the first tee. They said, "Do you want to go through?" And I was like, "No problem. We're in no rush. We'll fire up to the chipping green here." So I spun up to the chipping green, and Stephen, meanwhile, the pro had gone onto the range. He was doing a camp. There's 30 or 40 kids over there. I was like, geez, that's good. It's like a massive golf camp in a fairly remote, part of the world, but it's not too far from Dublin. It took me like 50 minutes to get there from Nace, so it is reachable. So it's only about 20 minutes south of the Tala exit, maybe. or the
Mhm.
Dundrum exit. But what changed it for me, went up to Chipping Green, the Christopher's Autism, and I did the Els for Autism certification. It's a long answer for like under at a golf course, but hopefully it gives people some feeling into what to expect and what I'm all about. Is up to Chipping Green, and Stephen had it all laid out. Loads of cones, sticker tape, that kind of coloured tape, and targets, and like 3-foot circles around holes. So like, easy win for kids. And looked super fun.
Mm.
And Christopher was like, wanted to try everything because he knew already like the lanes for chipping and the lanes for putting, and there was gates and there was cones, and like a Davy Fitz hurling session, there was that many cones. But he just got it straight away. He was like, yeah, there's a system, there's a process here, and he'd been through everything, and we were good to go then. And the course then was just like, it's like those reels you see of like, I don't know, I'll get this wrong now, but like golf in Wisconsin or golf in Idaho, and they're like smashing balls through these big high pine tree-lined fairways and up the side of a mountain, and it was glorious. The scenic views were incredible, and I struggled to find a weak hole going around the place. But yeah, it was phenomenal. So yeah, most underrated course I played this year, and multiple reasons as to what made it special for me.
And do you want to tell us the name again? I don't know if we mentioned the name.
It was McCredden Golf Club.
I can't
After
remember.
the Wicklow Gap and came home by the Sally Gap, we ventured to McCredden Golf Club at that particular day in August. It didn't hurt also that we had 24 degrees, no rain,
Nice.
no wind, perfect shot
Nice.
tracer weather.
I played in McCredden a couple of months ago as well. It was absolutely amazing. However, we had biblical hailstones. Oh my gosh, the golf car was, the wheels were spinning, but still it was absolutely amazing. They've that amazing par 3 down the hill. The fourth, is that the fourth hole?
So third or
The
fourth
big
hole. I'm
drop.
trying to think. The first
Yeah.
is par 4, second is a par 5. It might be the third, I think.
Maybe
But
it's the third,
it's a
yeah.
severe drop. Like
Yeah. Amazing
you
hole.
need an altitude pill almost.
Yeah. Amazing hole. Yeah, love that. And I have, again, been like you, ventured around Ireland, played some amazing championship courses. So mine is Portumna in County Galway. It is absolutely amazing. I played it only a couple of months ago, and look, I played it on a beautiful summer's day as well. So, there wasn't a blade of grass out of place, but it's absolutely stunning. I don't think I could pick a bad hole at Portumna either. The only, I suppose, little nuance that didn't throw me off was the fact that the pro shop and the clubhouse were so close to the first tee, so you had an audience immediately as you were hitting.
Oh, you literally do. A couple of friends of mine are members there. The
Yeah.
Myrta. So Brian is quasi-pro in the States, and his dad, Barney, he's built every cabinet in my mother and dad's house. But yeah, you literally come out from like the restaurant, or so the dress rooms, the changing areas are downstairs. They might be behind the restaurant. And you come off the restaurant, there's a little like veranda, like a 3-foot,
Yeah.
4-foot wide veranda, and then you're on the first tee.
Yeah, you're straight on. And we had come quite late in the day, and so people were drinking for a little while. So we really had an audience. But look, the tee shots went fine. And you know what? It made Portumna quite memorable for me, actually, because when people ask, like, what's one of the most unique first tee shots, I would certainly say that, because people are so close to you. But yeah, look, amazing golf course. Can't wait to get back there. I really feel like it is so underrated. Yeah, so if anybody's looking for a golf course in Galway, head there.
It's class. It's class. So I'm a member of the Golfers Journal, which is this funky looking logo on this top here, which is like a quarterly magazine. So I'm in that community on the Discord, but it's not an ad for the Golfers Journal. I'm teeing up the next question, right? So there's loads of asks into like the Ireland thread on this community. And they're always asking, I'm in Dublin for 6 days and my wife is giving me a hall pass for 2 days. Is there 2 or 3 courses I could play? So this rolls in nicely into, yes, the golfing tourists coming to Ireland is a question, but also, the likes of me pre-COVID who never ventured outside the low wall and Lahinch. What are 3 courses that even Irish people might be overlooking or might think are just for the tourists? So Eimear McManus, 3 courses to play on a visit to Ireland, and we'll give you 3 days.
Okay.
Because, let's pretend you're with the family, and as Matt Adams says, you might want a culture day or a culture half day in between. I'm not going to ask you for the culture bits. That might be a different segment. But just 3 golf courses.
Okay.
I don't want to be getting a chopper from one side of the island to the other. So they need to be like somewhat close to each other.
Nice.
Please.
So I love the Northwest. I just think the Wide Atlantic Way for golf is absolutely incredible. And it's still, I would say, it's very popular, but it's still maybe a little bit untouched compared to the south of Ireland. So if you were doing a golf trip and you were across 3 days and you did have to do a little bit of driving, I think you can You can fly to Dublin, 2 hours in the car, fly to Knock, fly to Belfast, fly to Donegal, and you could find yourself at Ross's Point in County Sligo. You could
Kind of
then
like a golf
head
club.
up to
Class.
Enniscrone, and you could also then make your way out all the way west to Cairn. I
Don't say
think if
all
you're
the way. It's only an hour and 20 minutes from Enniscrone. Belmullet, one of the best sea pools in the country, by the way.
That is true, and it is the closest golf course to America. Isn't that right? It's the closest golf course in Ireland. That point to America. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most westerly golf course
Yes.
in the country. And by default, then the most westerly golf course in Europe, if Iceland isn't counted as being in Europe. I don't think it is. But yeah, golf on the edge of the world, isn't that what they say? That's their tagline.
And it
think.
does feel like that. You actually feel like, you described it to me the other day, Paddy, you feel like you're an ant on the golf course. The dunes are so high. The golf
Oh,
course
yeah,
at
scale,
Cairns
yeah.
is slightly rugged. Oh, like the Wild Atlantic Dunes, they have 27 holes on the golf course, and there's 18 called the Wild Atlantic Dunes, and like the dunes are so high. And then you go back to Enniscrone, same vibe, really, really high dunes, maybe just slightly less rugged than Cairn, another stunning golf course. And then you've got Ross's Point in County Sligo, where they play the West of Ireland every year as well. And I love Ross's Point because, yes, it's a links course, but there's part of the course that you might feel like, okay, this is, this isn't too heavy a links course where the wind is battering you for 20 or 30 minutes as you play a couple of holes. So if I was doing a golf trip over 3 days, I would head to the northwest.
They're great points. I
Sold.
have a lot of time for David O'Donovan in Sligo as well. He runs a great ship there in Sligo, and Fiona and Jerry in Cairn took good care of me there a couple of years ago. They're great people. So
Oh, yeah.
like Jerry originally worked for, I think it was Dublin Bus, was it, for years?
I can't remember. I know the story.
Landed up to Cairn one day and says, geez, I'll never come up here again. This is so far away. And then after a couple of days and a couple of late nights, he ended up moving there a few months later.
Yeah, he never left.
He's there almost as long as he was in Dublin Bus, but great character, great man. Golf courses for me. Because 2026, a lot of the marquee golf courses of Ireland are booked out. So Southwest, the big ones. I don't know about the Portmarnocks in Dublin, if they're booked, but I would assume very close to being fully booked. The likes of the Royals and the County Downs and the Port Rushes, the big ones up in the northeast are most definitely full, especially after hosting Opens and Irish Opens and stuff like that. 3 golf courses, Port Salon, because I haven't played it yet. And it's meant to have one of the most outrageous, one of the best par 4s in the world. So the third or fourth hole, going from all the imagery I've looked at. My favourite place in the world, golfing mecca, Rossapena. 3 courses there. I counted as one location though. So Port Salon, Rossapena, you just have a full day there doing all the golf. And then third course, I was blown away by Donegal Golf Club when I went to play. It was crazy good.
I love Donegal.
You play the front 9, which is, it's like a Harding Park. Don't know why, but a Boston accent. Harding Park is in San Francisco. But in Harding Park, it's a city course. So you play the front 9, which is around the perimeter. And then you play the back 9, which is up and down or across the middle. So Donegal is the same. And Paul McGinney is doing some work up there as well. He's helping them redesign a few holes. Yeah. Very Paul McGinney themed today. So you play the outward 9, which is like the perimeter. And then the back 9 is slightly more sheltered from some sizable dunes as covered. But yeah, they'd be my 3 to choose from. So we're all going, let's go riding way out west. Remember that movie?
Love it.
We're all going.
Love it.
Or that's where we recommend anyway, northwest.
Definitely.
Irish people tend to love getting a deal. And there's this culture, and this might be a bit Marmite, there's this kind of Irish mentality in the main, in which, they won't play somewhere unless, what's the deal? Can I get a rate? What's the rate? Like if you want to play my prerogative, I got taught a lesson basically by Matt Janella that, if you're expecting five-star service and if you're going to places that employ, 50, 60, 100 people, mostly of that community, that, they're providing 5-star service, a golf course that is maintained to an unbelievable level, the likes of a Ballybunion or Tralee, a Portmarnock, fertilizer isn't free, that's, you're paying for the experience more so than the actual round of golf. So, but this question leads into maybe that Irish mentality of, what is great value? My son loves those S-tier videos. Do you ever see those?
No.
I don't know all the letters. I was like, S is superb or super tier, and then A is average, and C is could be better, and D is dreadful. That's the tier of stuff. But I don't want to do that for golf courses, because obviously you have the places where have hosted Opens and the places that have hosted Walker Cups and championships. There's obviously a second tier, right? We're blessed with so many golf courses. We're blessed in this country that we can actually go play any golf course bar one, I think, in the country. If you have the money, stump up, book your tea time, off you go. Maybe with a bit of notice. But favourite golf course in Ireland under €50? That's the question. So I've given all that chat about looking for rates, and the question is about best golf course under 50 quid. Because there is value there in terms of maybe golf courses who aren't maybe charging enough, right? Maybe they should be charging more. So Eimear McManus, what is your best golf course in Ireland under €50?
I've been so excited to answer this one. And sticking with your
You've plenty of time to think with me yabbering on there for 4 minutes.
You're all good. Sticking with your theme of Wicklow, down the road from Macreddin is an amazing golf course called Wooden Bridge. I played this over the summer, and it's not only okay. The green fee might not be €50; it could be 55 or 60, but I'm pretty sure they have a midweek early bird deal. €50 where you can play between like 8:30 and 4:30 or something like that. And so look, it gets my vote. It is absolutely
Early
stunning.
bird, 50 quid. Yes. You're in.
Yes. I
Hole in
honestly,
one.
I was so taken aback by this golf course. It is so beautiful. It is so well maintained. It reminded me, it's really hard to explain the golf course. It's tree lined. It really reminded me of an American course in like with loads of pine trees and just that vibe. Absolutely stunning. And what I would also say is I played Wooden Bridge in Macreddin in the same weekend, and just as a fun fact for people, down the road from Wooden Bridge Golf Club is Ireland's only pyramid in Arklow, and I visited that after my round of golf. So if anybody's interested in getting a bit of history between playing Wooden Bridge and Macreddin, head down to the only pyramid in Ireland, which is the Pyramid of Arklow. Fun fact.
You have a thing about pyramids, don't you?
Love them. Obsessed.
You have a thing about
because
pyramids.
We can't explain why they were built. Nobody can explain that, and how they were built as well. We don't know, and we'll never know. So we might crop a photo of me at the pyramid into this just to show people that Ireland really does have a pyramid.
If we can test Paddy and Eimear's editing skills. The pyramid in County Wicklow refers to the Howard Mausoleum, a large pyramid-shaped tomb commissioned in 1785. So it isn't like mock-up dolmens around North Clare that my neighbours are putting up.
No.
In the last 10 years. This is a lot longer than golf.
Yeah, no, it is actually amazing, and it's certainly worth a visit if you are teeing it up in the area. Now, Paddy, talk to me. Where is your favourite golf course under €50 in Ireland?
€50. Again, something I played this year because I played hurling in Naas for 5 years, and when I stopped hurling, they started winning county and All Ireland championships. So maybe it's a good thing I did stop. But a lot of them would have been members in this place. It's Rathsala, isn't it? It's Rathsala Golf Club, and tee times are this week 35 quid. Some days are 40. So yeah, I went down there with zero expectations. I went down with a buddy from work and his dad. He was former captain there. They used to commute out from Dublin to play when Conor was growing up. Like that, went down with zero expectations. Possibly what you used to do to every golf course. But I was practicing for Junior Cup, so I was like, I hope this place now is a bit of a test for like tee shots, because that's what I was trying to work on, and by God, is it? It's 20-25 minutes south of Naas. Don't know, is it technically in Carlow? I don't know. Don't want to get into any border politics there, but Rathsala, I think it might be Carlow. It's Wicklow. There we go. That's how close we are to Wicklow now in Kildare.
Wow,
there we go.
We're Wicklow's #1 fans today on the podcast.
Where's the Wicklow tourist board? I was full sure Rathsala was in Kildare or Carlow. But I'm hearing the website's like Rathsala, Wicklow. You don't need to have 18 perfect holes for Paddy to come play. My judgment is, will I come back and play? So if it's fun, if there's a showcase hole that's class. But Rathsala blew me away because I love how if a golf was framed nicely, because I like to get the old big camera out sometimes. I should have brought that in Rathsala because it's a perfect day. Is like from tee to green. If there's a blind shot, even better, because obviously that's what I grew up playing. But like from tee to fairway, if there's kinks in the fairway, if there's like topography and rolls and bunkers are placed nicely. I'm no architect buff, but I can appreciate a good looking golf hole. And for Rathsala, I would say most of the tee shots are framed really, really nicely. There isn't, I think there might be 1 or 2 blind shots going on in the place to keep it interesting. But yeah, Rathsala, absolute. Nice. They should be charging more. But yeah, I'd say a lot of people hope they won't.
We should create a Scratch social bucket list and add these courses onto it.
I think that's a good idea. I'll write that down in my big black notepad.
Love that. Nice. Now, shall we move on to our next segment, Paddy? Speaking of golf, this golf podcast would have never been going as well as it is had we not picked a cheesy extra segment about getting up and down.
You'll know now that the podcast is coming to a close when we start talking about the up and down. I had to get a dad joke in there, up and down for your week. So, Eimear, what's your up? Like a win or a highlight or something positive, and the down, a small fail or annoyance or maybe something funny that you can now look back on because it was super, super embarrassing.
My up for the week is something I'm really looking forward to this Thursday, which are the Golf Course Awards in London. So I'm heading over on Wednesday. I am a judge. These Golf Course Awards are based across the UK and Ireland. And so, look, that is my up for the week.
Jeez, you get around. Hold on. You do get around. Huh?
I do a
Not
few
only
bits now, Paddy.
No, but not only co-hosting, but like not going to an awards, judging the awards, no less.
Yeah. So you'll have to tune in on Thursday and see who the winners are of the Golf Course Awards in the UK and Ireland. But look, there's some amazing nominees up for prizes. So it should be a great evening and I'm looking forward to it. And my down for the week, to be honest, is that I haven't done any golf practice. My knee has been a little bit sore because I played too much paddle, unfortunately. So that is my down
That
at the moment.
game.
So I can sit here all evening and chat on the podcast because I can't really do much else. So that's me. That's my week. Normally it's something, the up isn't normally something you've done, but to be honest, I haven't done anything too exciting by this,
This
recording.
podcast, the up, starting the
recording.
podcast, press and go. So yeah, get some creatine into you, for that recovery. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Up for the week for me, a win, a highlight, something positive, is the brainwashing of my children, I think, is coming to fruition. So I have a 15-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old. So the two girls, I have women's golf on all weekend for as long as it's on telly. And if there's no matches on, football-wise, I'll put on YouTube clips of women's golf on the telly. Background noise, fine. Because, like chess masters don't just become chess masters. Their parents are insane. Like they'll have chess pictures, chess books, chess boards everywhere. Everything's chess. I'm doing the same with my girls. Golf. So the up is, it was on at the weekend. It was one in the mornings and it was on the TV and one of the women playing hold a big, massive putt, right? They were kind of watching it, kind of not. They were making jigsaws, whatever else. But the 2-year-old clocked it and started clapping. She's like, way in the hole. I was like, yes, absolutely. Because then when the 2-year-old then got a bit of attention age, Sophie then copped on and she started watching it and was making like the fake swings with her hands. There's no golf clubs indoors in our house, and that's an unwritten rule. Yeah, Sophie was then making like shadow swings as they were watching the golfers on TV. So that's a massive up for me. The brainwashing, I think, is coming to fruition, and I'm going to live the life I wanted through them. That's my plan. The down, thanks. The down for the week. Bit more of an annoyance. I pride myself on organization. I pride myself on time management and compartmentalizing my day. So if you read any of them books that you've seen my background, because I have a library of leather-bound books, Make Time is all about productivity, but I didn't make time for myself. So I'm a bit like your golf lesson, but you've a good excuse, not reason, excuse of your knee. We've no sponsors for the podcast. DP, we're both moving on. Maybe DP to be a sponsor for that.
Yeah.
But do you ever use DP the cream? That's how old I am now. Yeah, there used to be great pranks in the GA dressing room with DP in different places of people's gear bags. But I didn't get to the gym. I'm trying to get to the gym a couple times a week and do some speed work for like golf swing and increase my swing speed and squats and all those things you do. Lift heavy things and put them back down again. Didn't get to go at all because I just kind of sat back on my laurels a little bit and I was like, I get to 7:30, 8 o'clock and the girls are in bed and I'm just making excuses. I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow never came. Tomorrow then quickly became yesterday.
Yes.
So I need to hold myself accountable to that now this week. That's my plan.
Okay, so on next week's episode, you'll have visited the gym. I'll have been to the driving range and we'll compare notes. And I also need advice 100%. From you on how to practice because I've played golf for years, but as I said to you before, I absolutely wing it. I just show up onto the golf course, having not played in a month, haven't been to the driving range in 3 months, and I expect it to be really good, and it just does not happen.
Sure, doesn't it work? I've seen the swing on Instagram. The swing is very Instagram friendly.
Look, we show the good things on Instagram, and I do show the bad things as well. I was coached as a kid. I actually was coached by this amazing man called Noel Cassidy. Oh my gosh, he was awesome. He coached me for 4 years, and then I've had like 2 or 3 lessons ever since then in the last 20 years. So, yeah, I need to practice.
If people want, so not just Eimear, if people want information, if people have opinions about the underrated courses they might have, or the 3 courses they think they should play that aren't in the Northwest perhaps, or golf courses they've played that are great value or great experience. Give us great experiences you've had on the golf course while playing with your friends. Give us some stories of maybe people you've brought to golf, or reasons they're not playing anymore, or your opinions of why people don't play, or why there might be a gap between golf programs and getting on the golf course. Where can they reach us, Eimear? Another test. I set up all the accounts, so I'm really testing, did Eimear do her homework?
Okay.
So yeah, so we have the email, podcast
Okay.
at Scratch Golf. Whoa, podcast at, I got it wrong. Podcast at scratchsocialhq.com. Instagram,
Scratch Social,
H-
HQ, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. We're there. Scratch Social HQ on all of those platforms, and you'll find us there. And please send us your messages because we're totally new to this. We're really excited. Yeah, just let us know what you want us to talk about or segments you guys didn't like as well, because feedback is a gift.
Constructive feedback. Hopefully,
Yeah.
there's a bit more psychological safety for listeners to get in touch. If you aren't a social media person, so my parents aren't social media, we do have scratchsocialhq.com. You can get in touch with us straight away on there. You can write in anonymously if you don't have enough psychological safety after episode 1. That's where you can reach us. For me, Paddy.
And me, Eimear. Don't say stay social.
Until next week, I'm Paddy.
And I'm Eimear.
Slán, take it easy.
Thank you.